Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good afternoon, Crystal. It's 12:48 p.m.
Willie was in a jumper, so both of us were shivering. I was struck again by the beauty of it all.
So we've got
As in
this
the
lovely
stateroom,
white car
felt
that
as if
looks
I'd
like
never
a
seen a
navy
palace
blue
before.
Ford Mondeo,
These
and then
gardens, I
you've
thought,
got a
they're
car that
paradise.
looks like my
Why
dad's
can't we just
Toyota
enjoy them?
Starlet.
I was
I've
promised
had
for a
posts
lecture.
from
It didn't come.
Leicestershire,
Willie was subdued. He wanted
and
to listen.
somebody on TikTok
For
is
the
just
first time in a
taking the
long time,
piss.
my brother heard me out, and I was so grateful. I
So
told him about one past
that's
staff
this
member
morning
sabotaging Meg,
and this
plotting against
afternoon.
her. I told him about one current staff member whose close friend was taking payments for leaking private stuff to the press about Meg and me. My sources on this were above reproach, including several journalists and barristers. Plus, I'd made a visit to New Scotland Yard. Willie frowned. He and Kate had their own suspicions. He'd look into it. We agreed to keep talking. Chapter 76. I jumped into the car and was immediately told that a strongly worded denial had been put out by the palace, squashing that morning's bullying story. The denial was signed by none other than me and Willie. My name attached by faceless others to words I'd never even seen, let alone approved. I was stunned. I went back to Frogmore. From there, remotely over the next few days, I took part in the drafting of a final statement, which went out January 18th, 2020. The palace announced that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had agreed to step back, that we'd no longer formally represent the Queen, that our HOH titles would be in abeyance during this transitional year, and that we'd offered to reimburse the sovereign grant for refurbishments to Frogmore Cottage. A firm no comment on the status of our security. I flew back to Vancouver. Delicious reunion with Meg, Archie and the dogs. And yet, for a few days, I didn't feel fully back. Part of me was still in Britain, still at Sandringham. I spent hours glued to my phone and the internet, monitoring the fallout. The ire directed at us by the papers and the trolls was alarming. Make no mistake, it's an insult, cried the Daily Mail, which convened a Fleet Street jury to consider our crimes. Among them was the Queen's ex-press secretary, who concluded with his fellow jurors that we should hereafter expect no mercy. I shook my head. No mercy. The language of war? Clearly, this was more than simple anger. These men and women saw me as an existential threat. If our leaving posed a threat to the monarchy, as some were saying, then it posed a threat to all those covering the monarchy for a living.